So you probably heard before and probably surmised that I'm kind of like Johnny One Note
Yes.
in the sense of you got a problem, forget about the problem.
Yeah.
Recognize you got a problem and throw that out whenever it comes to mind.
I see.
But in this case, she's not chasing you down the street. You say you don't have any money. That's okay with me. I don't care. I don't want your money. So you've got a past. So what? Everybody's got a past. Question is, can you be happy right now?
I can be happy.
All right. Then the problem is solved. Because the only reason you had a problem is because you were unhappy thinking about it. To put it back to the way that I was speaking before, she's not chasing you down the street.
Yes, this is true.
So all of this is old guilt feelings. She's not making you feel guilty. You've decided to do all of that all by yourself. Well, she's probably hanging out in the bar with a new dude that's even more beautiful and handsome than you are. Or wants to.
But I care about her.
Okay.
Like
So you care.
I don't want a romantic relationship with her, but
Well, that's almost always what caring means.
Well,
You want to own them, you want to fuck them. That's all there is to it.
Well, trust me, it's not worth the trouble.
It's not. It really is not. It's not
not.
worth the trouble.
So, but I still want to help her, and I know that we had a conversation in the Sangha about sometimes the best decision to do is to not make a decision, and that sometimes when you try to do good things, you you don't know what's going to come out of them.
You don't know what's going to happen. So explain to me a little bit about her situation. Why are you so, let us say, worried?
Well, the situation is that she's got dissociative disorder. She has
Oh, another
CPTSD.
one of those labels, huh?
Oh,
You can't talk about her behavior. You got to put it in terms where
okay.
they can give her pills.
Okay, she's a weed smoker. She likes smoking weed. It'll be like a $300 a month habit. It's too picky choosing jobs. No, this one's not good enough. This one's not good enough. This job, I only want to work at a smoke shop, or I want to work at a sex shop, or work here or there, or whatever it is.
Okay.
And
So
and the,
any help you give her is going to be wasted
it
because you don't want
is.
to help her in the way that she wants to be helped. Other than give her the advice that, hey, I know an island in South Thailand where you can get a job in a weed shop.
And I tried to share the Dhamma with her. When I heard Bhikkhu Buddhadasa talk about Ida Pakayata and stuff like that, and then I heard the other talks. Now, of course, I'm not internalizing these things and applying them well at the moment because, well, I'm still caught up in the world. But I
Sure
think
you are. So what? Every, but you see, you're not caught up in the world like bound to it full time. You're caught up in the world because you have thoughts about it on a regular basis. And when you stop having those thoughts, right then and there, you're not bound up in it. Don't see bound up as a long term event. See bound up as something you're doing right now.
okay, and I understand.
When you say bound up,
Hmm.
you're talking about personality view. People say, well, that's just how I am, or they're just good old boys. or fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, or a leopard can't change their spots. This is actually part of our culture. And the Buddha
Yes.
is saying, give up on that personality view. You don't have a personality view. You have personality thoughts from time to time. And at other times, you don't have thoughts, especially when you're thinking about the Dhamma. You're not
Okay.
bound up. So don't see the personality view as permanent. It's not. It's temporary, moment by moment. Another way of saying it is that you do not know who you are because you are a moving target. Everybody's a moving target, but Dhamma dudes begin to understand that they're a moving target and therefore cannot be defined. Who am I is a stupid question. Because by the time you answer it, the answer's changed.
Yeah. You're never the same person.
You can't step in the same person twice.
No. If I help her,
Herodotus said that, by the way. He was Greek. That was 5th century BC, in the same time of the Buddha.
Okay. If I help her, I will be enabling her.
Yes, that's right.
And this is what my father told me. He's like, I understand that you want to help, but at a certain point, you're like the story of the family that's caught up to the cow, whose udders are giving just like barely enough milk, and the family
So
is
they
gonna
keep
stop.
jerking on them, right? Yeah.
And instead of moving to somewhere better and changing and everybody going their own way and trying to survive, they stay stuck to the cow, trying to milk the cow. So,
Need to get that cow a friend.
so I'm trying to understand. Maybe it's that I want to be liked, or maybe it's that I want her to still like me and to still
Or
think
maybe
that.
it's like you want to get rid of your guilt feelings. You feel guilty about her, almost as if you failed her.
I did because I promised her that I wouldn't let her end up on the street. But the thing is that
You can't stop her from ending up on the street. So you promised something, a promise you couldn't keep.
I understand.
That's the reality about most promises. I've made a promise or two, and even years later, I regret not keeping the promise. I regret making the promise because when I made it, I kind of knew I couldn't keep it.
And I've tried my best. You know, I've liquidated stock holdings and IRAs and pawned stuff off and all of these things
Just
to
to feed her weed habit, I suppose.
well, in part, yes, in part. But I told her, I don't want you buying weed with this. I don't want you
You
buying
can't
weed
stop
with
her.
this or
All
that.
you can
I
do is
can't.
help her get on a plane, leaving on a jet plane to a place where grass is a whole lot cheaper than $300 a month.
Yeah.
You can feed a nice, really heavy duty habit here in Thailand for $100 every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. And then I'd go every week to drop food off, not just for her, but for her friends, because she's living with roommates. So it's
Okay.
three people splitting the rent, right? Now I'm not covering the whole thing. In the past, I was not covering the whole thing. I'm just covering part of it. And then like the food, I'll buy enough for all three of them. I'll get enough for all three of them.
You've
So
got 3 girlfriends you can't stand?
no, I don't have three girlfriends. I only
Oh,
had
but
one.
she's shacking up with 2 guys then? Is that what's happening?
No, no, it's two girls.
You see if I can guess again.
Huh?
Let me see if I can make another guess. Okay, so these are not three females together, and it's not one gal and two. Is she a transvestite? Tell me what's going on here. I don't get it. You're
Yes.
paying the rent.
Yes. How did you know? Dhammarato, what's going on? How did you know that? Yes, my ex is transgender. Male to female. Yeah. It's just, that's how I am. When I was very little, I yeah, I had a boyfriend. And then I liked it. It was like the emotional connection was good, but I didn't get turned on. So that
All
wasn't
right.
that wasn't it.
Well, that's
And
old
then
past. We don't need to talk about any of that.
uh,
Here's a question: do you have a job right now?
I'm a full-time student in university studying
Why?
psychology.
Why? Good. I mean, you're pretty bad at it right now.
I am so bad at it, Dhammarato. That's why I went into psychology. I'm like, you know what? I can get a job and I can also fix my own shit. And
Yeah, well, that's why we've got so many psychologists in the world who can't get a job and can't fix their own shit.
that is.
In fact, the primary source for new psychologists is failed clients.
Mm.
You go into the psychologist, they don't get better, but they learn a whole lot about psychology, so they'll say, hey, well, at least I can get a degree in this and go around helping others just like I couldn't get any help. The business model of psychology dooms the whole practice to failure. It sets you into a one up, one down situation with people. The psychologist then begins to need his clients more than the client needs the psychologist. I learned all about that in graduate school.
I know, because that's the thing that caught me off guard, is that you studied clinical psychology, and I think you even got a PhD in it.
Something like that.
And then you ended up being a monk. So at some
Well, that's
point,
because I was looking for the right answer. I was
as
like the
yeah.
Buddha. I tried all kinds of weird shit like he did.
So I think obviously eventually you just found out that being a monk was the better choice.
Because I met Bhikkhu Buddhadasa. I met someone. I met Achan Po. I can't tell you which one influenced me the most. They each influenced me in different ways, but I knew that these guys had what I wanted.
I see it in
They
people.
gave it to me.
I see it in Mikey, for example. When Mike,
So
you know,
do I.
Mikey just smiles, and he's just like, he doesn't need to talk all the time. He'll talk when it's like necessary to talk, and he'll just like, he'll just enjoy the conversation. And then if there's like some problem, then he'll just laugh about it or something like that. And then and when I see people like that, I'm like,
Well, why don't you come stay with him? He's here on the porch. We can put you up. We can find room for you.
uh,
If you really want to know psychology, you're not going to get it from psychologists. You're going to get it by understanding your own mind, because the human mind is all the same.
yes.
Everybody has PhD. I mean, attention to deficit disorder. Everybody has post-traumatic stress disorder. Everybody's a bit schizoid. Everybody is bipolar.
I understand that. You'll take some random person off the street and then put him by a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and they'll pop out a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's nobody that is, you know, right in the middle of not having a diagnosis.
The only
And
people that they don't diagnose are those who they never see. And there's enough people out there who are healthy enough that they don't need a psychologist, but there's far more many of them that are too sick to go to a psychologist, and that's why they won't go.
Dhammarato, if I decide that I want to become a monk, how can I go about that? For example, with the
All right, where
Catholic,
do you live? Where do you live?
I live in
Forget
Philadelphia.
Catholics. All right, there's places in Philadelphia. Why don't you do a Philadelphia search on our website?
Okay. But
That's what the whole thing is for. I don't understand people who know us. They know we've got a website that has all of this data on it, and now you're asking instead of looking.
no. I know that it's there. The question leads me to one thing, and it's that I have a diagnosis of bipolar. Now, I know for a fact
Can
that
you
some
put that
places.
in a can you put that in your sock drawer? Put it in there with your Mickey Mouse socks and forget all about it. Just like you've forgotten all about your Mickey Mouse socks.
But I know some places will not take me because of it. There'll be like too much
It's a
liability.
bunch of crap. Forget it. And when somebody says, "Do you have some sort of diagnosis?" you can say, "I used to, but I forgot what it was." Just forget about it. In the time of the Buddha, they did not have those kind of diagnoses. That in fact, in the 1960s, they didn't have those kind of diagnoses. That in fact, it was in the 1970s when they wanted to have those diagnoses. And you know why they wanted them? Was because the insurance companies would not pay for any mental stuff. You see, in the medical profession, with medical doctors who work on the body, they have a diagnostic code for a broken bone on the leg, a femur, a hip bone. They know pancreatic cancer. They've got all these diagnoses. And so the psychologists and the psychiatrists said, we want those things too. And they've been adding to that book for all these years. And when they get the book full of diagnoses, maybe the insurance companies will start paying for it. Bad chance. That's the reason for those diagnoses, is because they want money from the insurance companies. The insurance companies are not going to pay for anything they don't know what it is, and they still won't pay for things when they do know what it is. How many stories have you heard about somebody who died because they were not able to stay in a hospital like the doctor wanted because the insurance company wouldn't pay? Or they
Yeah.
didn't get the tests that they needed that would prove that they had something so that they could get the right kind of treatment for it. Well, that's 100% of all the diagnoses that you'll get from psychologists. They're irrelevant. They don't mean a thing. And we've already gone back to the point that you're a moving target. Those diagnostic codes are for a personality that's fixed.
I see.
And you can change. That's the whole point about the Buddha. And so there's not going to be any, especially any Thai or Asian Buddhists, are going to give a flying rip about your diagnosis. Only places like Goenka's retreat, because they're run by Westerners who don't understand that personality is not fixed. This is what the Buddha means by anatta. There is no permanent self. So forget about the diagnosis.
They don't even work either way. Um, I kid you not, Dhammarato. I've taken like 30 different medications, and each one give me some new shit. Like I took
Every one of them has a side effect,
I took
often an unwanted side effect. It's not like Viagra. Viagra is the only drug they ever found that had a decent side effect.
yeah, like akathisia from antipsychotics, or you know, having to go get blood tested for lithium because you might be fucking dying from lithium toxicity or all these things. And the benzodiazepines, you know, they gave me when I was 18 or something like that, or 19. They gave me Xanax, like candy. You know, here you go. You're 19, 18-year-old. Here you go.
Well,
Have
if they can diagnose a drug for you, then they can say, my job is done, pay me.
Yeah.
And that's the war, basically, between the psychologist, the psychotherapist, and the psychiatrist, because only the psychiatrist can dispense drugs, but psychiatrists don't do psychotherapy. They dispense drugs. So the psychologists may know a whole lot more about you, and they tell what the psychiatrist what drug to give you, and the psychiatrist just writes it out. He's actually an inkjet printer in a business suit. That's all a psychiatrist ever was.
So is a monk just a real psychologist? That's what it is, no?
I would say that those monks who spend an awful lot of time listening to an awful lot of bullshit from an awful lot of people begin to see that it's all a bunch of bullshit. Back to my Johnny One note. Let's get out of the bullshit. Never mind labeling the bullshit. You don't have to be a master psychologist to give people the diagnosis of stop having unwholesome thoughts.
I understand.
Looking for love in all the wrong places. So, in fact, the diagnostic code only has to do with where you've been looking for love.
I believe that's the problem.
And you'll get different diagnoses when you go to different doctors when you're looking for love in a different place.
Yeah.
My favorite is Roth, who, as a child, came to the United States. He was Cambodian, and he was in the killing fields. He spent 5 years in jail because he was in a car that was stolen. And he didn't even know that, but that's South Carolina for you. There, they diagnosed him as schizophrenic, and he started taking the medicines, and he wouldn't take it anymore. Because his family was from Cambodia, they wound up at the Cambodian Wat in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is where I was, and I took Ross under my wing. And I got him re-diagnosed as post-traumatic stress disorder. I worked with a psychologist who finally convinced the psychiatrist that the psychiatrists in Spartanburg, South Carolina, were madly wrong. But he had already had such a bad time with them in Spartanburg that he wound up refusing to take any kind of medication. The only medication he'd take was a 6-pack. And so occasionally I'd give him the 6-pack, knowing that it was against the law to do so.
Yeah.
All right. So from that, we can. That's just what you would call empirical psychology. That's what you would call one example does not prove the entire system. But every example that I do have proves the entire system is not. Okay, let me ask you this. You've heard about monks like Thich Nhat Hanh and Ajahn Sumedho and Bhikkhu Buddhadasa and Ajahn Po and how highly revered they are.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of someone who went to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and got cured?
No.
No.
Never. They just keep coming back. And
right.
and as a matter of fact, I think the only time that you know that you're well is when you stop going.
Yes.
When you just decide enough of
And
this
not only
bullshit.
that, but most psychologists will chase you down the street saying, "You're not well yet. You're not well yet."
Yeah, that, I mean,
Just
because
like diet clinics will chase a guy who's lost a lot of weight down the street. "You're not thin enough yet. You're not thin enough yet. Keep coming back and giving us money."
and of course when you do talk therapy, it'll be, oh yeah, and tell me how you felt about that, and then fucking let's open the wound again, and let's like go back to the beginning of everything that happened. Maybe there you will really find
Yeah,
it.
we call that
And
archaeology, psychological archaeology. I've got some jokes about that, but let's not. Yeah, the diagnosis was is that he is an asshole. That's actually a diagnostic code, and he's an asshole because he got a spanking when he was 4 years old. So the psychiatrist figured out because of all of the archaeology. The reality was is that his mommy gave him a spanking because he was already an asshole. So much for psychological archaeology. It doesn't mean a thing.
That's very refreshing, but well, no, but
It's like Coca-Cola.
but look, here's the problem, Dhammarato. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but the resistance is like,
Well, I'm not inviting you yet to move into the Wat. I'm inviting you to go visit the Wats and make a few friends within the Asian community. One point that I'll make is that when the Asians want to start a Wat, or when they're looking for monks in an already established Wat, they'll often go to Asia to find them. It's hard for Laotian and Cambodian monks to get a visa, but Thai monks they can get an easy visa for the Thai monks, thanks to the U.S. government and the Treaty of Amity. But here's the point. The lay people who are looking for a monk does not want a young monk who wants to come to America. They want an old monk who does not want to come to America and convince him to come out of his good nature and big heart. So you will often find old monks in the West. And that's true in the Theravada, is true in the Mahayana, is true in the Tibetan system. I'm not so sure about Japan because it's really, really, really hard for Westerners to convince an old Japanese Zen master to come to the U.S. He's not going to do it.
not having it.
So I wouldn't trust the Zen places, but I'd trust the Tibetan, I would trust the Thai, I would trust the Cambodian, because almost always the Cambodian and Laots will have an elderly Thai monk.
There's a Cambodian Wat near me. There is.
Have you been yet?
I have been. I have been. I should go. I mean, it's 40 minutes, like there and back, but I can.
Well, that's 40
I
minutes in
can
the
fit.
psychologist office, and it's
I
not
can
nearly
fit.
as expensive.
And they
You
do.
can stay all day.
And I think they do
After you
Thai
stay
classes.
a couple of days, you can just move in. Sleep on the floor in the meditation hall.
But it's very dangerous talking to people in the Dhamma, because now I got to stop going to university, and then
No, you
because
can go to the university, but what's going to happen, you don't have to stop going to university. You can start seeing a university for what it actually is, and then you'll stop.
I know, but there's that's why it's dangerous, because it's like the resistance is like.
So what you're saying is truth is dangerous.
It's
Why? Because the truth will help you be freed from the lies you've been told, and you love the lies you've been told.
Yes, it's true.
We like what we've gotten used to.
It's what I told Mikey and Monte, and I'm sorry I forgot his name. Is if you keep talking, I'm gonna shave my head and buy a ticket to go to Asia, because
Yeah.
it's like,
Well,
and
we're
then
talking about going to the Watts in Philadelphia.
yeah,
You can move in there too. In fact, if you get to the right kind of place, and I would assume that Cambodian Wat that you're talking about, if you keep going back over and over and over again, they'll be looking out for a size robe that'll fit you. I would, in a funny kind of little way, I was tricked into becoming a monk.
you were.
Yeah, by Achan Po. He set me up.
It's like what is it? I don't remember the name, but the Muslims, it's like you give an attestation in front of somebody, and then you become a Muslim, and it's like, oh, let's trick him. Then they'll end up turning, and sort of like that, I guess.
Well, now that's psychology for you. Is trick somebody into doing something beneficial, wholesome, and wise for themselves when they would rather hold a diagnostic code and go to school to learn something about more about what it is that's not helping.
Mm.
So, in this conversation, you originally called about trying to help a girl who you can't help.
I
Girl in
can't.
name only, a GI, a gyno.
Well, Dhammarato, what can I say? What can I say?
Well, you can say, I don't need to help her
Yeah.
because you can't help her. That's the problem with helpers. My mom was a first class, world class helper. You know what's the biggest problem with a helper? They feel bad when they can't help somebody. They feel bad when they don't have anybody to help.
Yeah.
My mom respected me. She used me. I helped her, but she loved my sister so much more because my sister fixed it so that she needed my mom. And my mom spent her whole life, my sister's whole life, taking care of her because that's what my mom wanted to do. She was a helper. She was a nursery worker in the church.
And that can also
She
be
treated
toxic.
every she treated everybody like a child, and I would not remain a child.
Uh,
So here you are trying to help her, this poor little thing who's got a $300 a month smoking habit and can't figure out what what shape her balls are in. You can't help her, and you know you can't.
I
Look how
know.
hard you've tried. Look how much money you've already spent.
Yeah. And dukkha. A lot of dukkha.
Hmm.
A lot of dukkha.
Well, that's because you didn't get your way. You see, you wanted to help her, and you wanted proof that you helped. You didn't get the verification.
Mm.
So that means, oh, I've got to help harder. If I help hard enough, I'll fix her.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing that could happen to her is that she doesn't see you for a while. She doesn't know
Maybe.
why you're in.
Let's hope not, because if she finds out where I'm at, she's gonna start chasing me. I got her on the phone. That's how, at an arm's length. Uh,
So I was right. The first question I asked you was, is she chasing you? And the answer is, yeah.
well, she's not chasing me right now, but you know,
When the money runs dry, she might.
of course. I mean, I have no look. I have no doubt about that. I'm telling you, stop buttering me up to try to get money out of me. I'll help you either way. like, like, yeah, it's
And so you've ruined yourself financially trying to help her no matter what.
yeah.
Congratulations, you're a man.
But I didn't get married. I didn't get married, at least, because I was about to get married. Believe it or not. Well, on the way to get married. I bought a ring. So,
Congratulations. On not getting married.
Thank you.
Now, one more thing, and that is that we have Watts here on the island.
Yeah.
We have Wat Suan Mok, we have Wat Khao Tam, we have Wat Tang Na, we have Wat Rusi Pa Siang Tang, just around here. We also have a Wat in Royette, Wat Dam. We know a lot of places here in Thailand, but you're in Philadelphia and you got no money, so the thing to do is to start hanging out. Look up Philadelphia on our Google map and on our search. Type in Philly in the city field and see what you can find.
Okay. I will do that. We'll do that. Yeah, maybe the best thing is I just don't do anything, because I'm ruining this person by being an enabler.
Mm-hmm. You probably learned that from your mom, though I'm not making any statements about anybody in your family, but we do know from psychology that a girl who is raised in the family with an alcoholic father will more likely find an alcoholic husband. And after 3 husbands, she gets tired of having an alcoholic husband. So the 4th man she marries, she turns into an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's an enabler for you.
Yeah.
You're enabling her to have a bad, let us say, easy way to have a bad life. So you're just making her life easier while it's a miserable life, instead of helping her out of her miserable life, which is what you want to do, and you can't do that. Not any more than I can make you quit college. I can't do that. I don't even want to. The world needs more psychologists.
Well, maybe there's still time to change majors. Maybe there's something more useful than psychology.
I'm not sure that it's going to be an easy transition into something really useful like electrical engineering. You see, psychology has 1 + 1 = 0. They have never figured out that 1 + 1 is equal to 3. You know, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 is equal to 1 + 1 is 2 plus something we don't know yet.
I did not know.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
I did not
1
know.
+ 1 plus something we don't know yet.
I did not know.
That's a Buddhist joke, not an electrical engineering joke. The electrical engineers will fight you over that one.
Okay.
Oh. The whole basis of mathematics is to prove that one exists.
Is it really?
Yeah. Long proofs, because if you can't prove that one exists, you can't prove arithmetic.
Huh. That's very interesting.
One is always one plus something else we don't know quite yet.
Do we have to find out? I mean, does
That's
it
the
really
whole
matter?
point. No, we don't. Because why? Because right now things are good enough.
Yeah.
We can go with 1 plus 1 plus what we don't know. Don't hurt us. Ignorance is bliss here. Let's have a 2.
Dhammarato, let me ask you a question. How did you know that my girlfriend was transgender? I want to know. That was a pretty wild
Let us
guess.
call that serendipity. Or maybe it was that I had run out of options.
No, come on. That's so, like, I'm sure you saw something.
Well, her I haven't.
Oh, well.
Only you.
Yeah. These are old man tricks. It's like the Zen master tricks.
Yeah.
What is it? Mm. It did help though when we talked about not judging things. Like I don't hate as much. I just, you know, I see suffering and then I can empathize with people.
But you can't fix it. That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
Yeah.
When somebody's dying in bed from pancreatic cancer, the only thing you can do is fluff their pillow.
And I'll tell you something, Dhammarato. When I had that first conversation with you, I literally went and cried all night. Like, because that was such a, I'd never heard that before. That there is that good and evil doesn't exist.
Other than in your mind.
I never heard that before, and I went through so many emotions because I'm like, what does this monk know? It's like, what does he know? Thinks he's so smart.
I know nothing.
and,
And that marvelous. I don't know nothing.
But then I came to realize that it's true. And then, what can you say about God? There's
Don't worry, be happy. That's
no,
what we can
well, it's
say.
not a worry. No, it's not a worry. It's that I came to that realization that I can't say what God is or is not. So if
Well,
I can't
nobody
say,
can, but you hear a lot of people arguing like they think they know.
so
They
if
get mad when you prove them wrong.
if if I say anything about God, it would be intellectually dishonest. And if I can't say anything about God, then what does it matter? Like I can't say
Can we
anything.
stay with reality? Because reality, in fact, is the God that they're looking for.
Yeah.
All the way down to gravity and the electromagnetic and strong and weak nuclear forces, vectors, acceleration, all of the laws of physics. Is a good enough God. I especially like gravity. Why? Because gravity, they say that God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent.
Yeah.
Where do you know that gravity does not, it's not present? Everywhere is present, even between the galaxies. That's why Andromeda and the Milky Way are making love with each other, heading for each other due to gravity.
Mm.
It's also pretty strong. I mean, look at the kind of rockets that we have to get out of the gravitational field. It's pretty
Yeah.
strong stuff. And then not only that, but it'll get you when you slip, you'll fall. Gravity's there waiting on you.
Oh, it's a friend that's around
It's
your whole
always
life.
around. Not only that, but we need gravity. It's absolutely essential. If there was no gravity, there'd be no atmosphere. No atmosphere, no breathing. No breathing, no Santiogo.
Well, no
Gravity,
gravity, no planet Earth, no stars, no nothing. Just,
nothing. Gravity, that's our God.
yeah. I can appreciate it better that way. Because then, I don't have to, well, original sin, why is there suffering? And we already talked about what that meant, which I agree with
And
you
if
is a
you don't
real,
like something, that's your suffering.
yeah.
If
Which,
you liked everything, you wouldn't suffer. If you'd liked that your girlfriend was transgender, smoking dope all the time, and wanting your money, and if you liked all of that, you'd be happy enough.
yeah, I could, but I don't like that. I don't
Well,
like it at all.
change that mentality then. Hey, it's okay.
But that you're not telling me to go back to her, right?
No,
So,
I'm
yeah,
not telling you to go back to her.
of course. Uh,
In
yeah,
fact, the best thing to do is to like what you've got right now
yeah.
because you can't go back to her.
No, I can't.
But you can sit here and be happy.
I can. I can be happy. It's crazy how that works. You just you just say to yourself, I can be happy. And it's like, yeah, I can be happy. What a revolutionary fucking concept. It is.
It is. It's
It,
absolutely anti-societal.
it's crazy. It's like everything is built against that.
The
Like
whole society is built against that.
this is like buy this shit, buy this other shit. Fucking come become this, come do this.
Come vote, come vote, come vote for us.
Come
Join
vote.
our army.
And then, it's like I know people say that all the time. It's like it's nothing new. But it is revolutionary.
Actually, in a way, it's also anti-revolutionary. The Buddha didn't start any revolutions.
Well, not in the sense of a revolution. I mean, just like something so impactful to what's always
That you can just
been in
throw
my
all that
mind.
stuff out. You don't have to fight with it. That's the revolution. You're trying to overthrow something like a government or whatever. No, you just walk away from it.
Yeah. And then now I like even now like I see the use of not going on YouTube and looking up the Christian debates Muslim or this or that or whatever it is or street preacher or da 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 because
Vladimir versus Vladimir, right.
what's what's the point of looking at that shit because that's only it's gonna pollute the mind with negative thoughts and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeding it and
Exactly.
I'm reinforcing it and even yet there's when you start concentrating on something a lot you start forming connections.
Mm-hmm. So
So
why don't you go form some connections at the Cambodian what? or a Taiwan.
Yeah.
Go make some friends that are worth having.
Yeah.
Get yourself on a ticket to Thailand. Come on down.
No, but it's very dangerous, Dhammarato. You know why?
Because you might stay.
No, because there's a lot of transgenders in Thailand. I might,
So
I might,
what? There's
I
no
might end
laws
up,
against it.
I might end up
I'll
falling in
introduce
love.
you to some. Well, falling in love is dangerous, not Thailand.
It's not gonna, you know. Yeah.
And in fact, when you find that falling in love is downright dangerous, you won't do that anymore either.
It is, but I haven't learned the lesson. I haven't learned it yet. I'm still trying to throw the dice, that biological dice, that instinctual dice, the habit dice.
Mm-hmm. It's all habit. The question is, can you change your habits? One thought at a time.
Yeah, because there's a fear of missing out. You know what? What if the Buddha's wrong, and what if the monk is wrong, and but then I see these people being happy and unmoved, and they don't give a shit about what other people say. They just like couldn't give a shit. You know, somebody comes on here and it's like, oh yeah, well that's not true. That's not how it is. And this okay. It just rolls off. And that's what I
Well, they
want.
can roll off of you too. Okay, so the way to do it then is by associating with those kind of people.
Yeah.
Go associate with monks.
Yeah.
If it rolls off of them right in front of you, maybe it'll roll off of you too, right in front of them. Or maybe when it's rolled off of them and it doesn't roll off of you, the monk will say, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, be happy. It don't mean a thing.
And I see how it changes people.
Right? That's the whole point
I
about
see, I see,
personality. Personality is not fixed. You have a choice. You can change.
and like people are pretty nice here on that Discord. They're really nice. And usually, you know, when I make friends or when I'm hanging out with somebody, it's who can get the best out of the other. You know, who's who's better at this or better at that, or let me throw an insult here. Are you gonna catch it? Are you gonna defend yourself from it? Are you gonna be a man and step
Hmm.
up to the plate and all
You know, a
that
lot of
bullshit?
social media is like that. But
And
our groups are different because there's enough nobles to take care of those who are not going to act nobly.
and it's contagious.
Yes, it is. That's why I recommend go to the Wat.
I am gonna go to the what, Dhammarato. You've convinced me. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go on Saturday, and if they
All
have
right.
Sunday, if they have it Sunday, I'll go too. I'll go
All
back
right.
to back, and I'll just stand there like
Well,
without
since you're in
knowing anything.
Philadelphia, they'll have Sunday, what, 12 hours from now, 10 hours from now.
No, no, no. It's about to be Monday. Is it? No, wait. No, yeah, it's Sunday.
It's Saturday night for you. Just turned Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. It's Sunday. Fuck, I don't even got the dates right. You know, I'm so lost in my mind. Yeah, I
There
can go
was a
tomorrow.
time when I was in Thailand, I didn't know what year it was. Didn't know when birthdays happened. Didn't take care of them. No calendars anywhere. No change of season. It just goes from hot to hot, and maybe it rains.
That sounds really nice. Not looking at the calendar. How old am I? I don't fucking know.
I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah. Hmm.
All right, so we've solved several issues today.
We have. And thank you very much for
Find out that
those.
they're not really issues at all. They were just, let us say, guilt feelings.
Yes.
All right, so go join the website. Go look on our search.
Yeah, they got the Sangha maps. I saw it.
Yeah, we've got huge number
Yeah.
of maps.
No, I've posted on there and I've made groups
Yeah, that's right. You
and
have.
and no, like I'm trying to get active on that and on the Discord and on the Skype and trying to stay
Right.
connected.
Stay connected with noble people. That's
Not fall
exactly
out,
right.
not fall out. Because the moment I stop coming back and I stop staying on this frequency, then it's not gonna be good. It's just not gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways,
All right. We'll see you later.
thank you very much. You take care. I know you'll have a good day either way.
The day is not the issue.
Bye.